Hello, welcome to the When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be talking for some minutes. I don't know how many minutes, but I'll be talking for some minutes. As you know, Facebook made it so I couldn't use it anymore with the several reportings from past comments. So every time a ban was lifted, another ban or another suspension was enacted. So basically, I can't use my Facebook because it was like, the first one is like 3 days, and it's like 3 days, and it's 7 days, 7 days, and it's like 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. But the thing is, I have like 6, or whatever, more than 6, but like a shit ton of like reports that have to take in effect, which instead of just being like, banned or suspended for like a week, even though there's 6 comments, they like do it for each comment. So basically, Facebook kicked me off the platform for speaking my mind. I didn't say anything weird. I just said stuff that Facebook didn't agree with. So like political stuff and stuff about the protests and stuff about COVID. So I said stuff that they just didn't agree with, which is fine. Once again, I'm all about free speech. If Facebook doesn't want to support free speech, I don't need to use Facebook. Like, I don't care. The only thing I use Facebook for is to look at hot chicks, basically. I'm sorry, to talk to Asian chicks, which are 98% of them are hot. Trust me. Like, for example, Iris. I'm sorry, lovely. She's lovely. It's a girl named I forgot her name. Like Melanie, Asian chick. She's hot. Her body's hot. I'll be honest, her face is ugly, but her body's hot. So no, but that still counts. Like having her body makes up for her face. Like she looks like a dog. Like Melanie's face, she looks like a pug. I don't know, but seriously, she looks like a dog. I'm not even making fun. I'm just being honest. Like Melanie has a dog's face on a smoking hot body. So whatever, and then it's great because she has like bikini pics from like the last 5 years of her life. I'm like, nice. It's like you never get bored looking at bikini pics from the past 5 years of a chick's life. They're all hot. I like them. Especially the one where she's wearing pigtails. But anyway, I digress. One of the last questions I was asked before I was booted off Facebook was, what would my government look like? Because, it's, but when I was asked this, like Trump was in the news. Well, I guess Trump is always in the news. But anyway. So my government would be, okay, well, I changed the justice system, basically. Like, jail doesn't work, and jail is privatized. So jail is all about making money currently, so there'd be no jail. What I do is, you wouldn't be allowed in society. So, I'm not exaggerating. I would make one of the central states, like one of the flyover states, like Wyoming, okay? Like like the least populated state. And then find a chunk of land in like one of those least populated states. So I'm just going to say Wyoming because I'm pretty sure it's the least populated state. And just have have land there and just have have like a city, housing and all that stuff. But all the criminals have to live there. So instead of jail, like, they have a city, like, and whatever, it gets run down. But the thing is, you put them there in that, I guess, microcosm of society, and, like, they're not allowed to leave. So it's like all the money that would be spent on jails and stuff would be put in security out, like, around that, area. And, obviously you wouldn't have transportation in that thing. Like, you'd have certain things that wouldn't be allowed. Like, obviously, like airplanes, like guns, like nothing like that so they could break out. And then, like, the city's guards, they have to stay in that area. And then, like, when they are, quote-unquote, rehabilitated, they are allowed to leave and integrate back into society. See, the thing is, in jail, that's just a little society. But if you put them in like a city where like they're still living a quote unquote like in America, but like they realize, wow, it's really like there's a big difference between living in a city that's not America than living in a city that's America. They're gonna want to come back to society, or it's gonna just divulge into like this hellhole and they'll all like die. But the difference is there's gonna be choices though. So there is gonna be a bastion of quote unquote good in this quote unquote city. So like people will be fighting for. Yeah, I know it's gonna sound like they're fighting. I mean, it's gonna sound like a movie where it's like 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 we put all the bad guys like on an island like it did with Australia. But the thing is, we have to do that though because jail doesn't work. Now this city's probably not going to work either, but it's going to work a lot better because it's not going to be based on money. Because like states get money based on how many people are in jail. Like we just have instead we're just going to have one big like area. You put them all there, so it's like it won't be state run. It's going to be run by the federal government, and that's it. And then like everyone employed is just going to be guarding the outskirts of the city, dropping off food supplies, all that stuff. And once again, if people want to live in America, basically you lose your citizenship if you commit like one of those heinous crimes. Like I'm talking like the violent crimes, obviously. Like murder. Well, yeah, like armed robbery. Like basically, we're gonna put all the violent criminals, and they're not citizens anymore. Okay. Now the other crimes where like you have to register. Okay, that stuff doesn't work either. Okay, so like that, you have to have once again like another type of area. But the thing is, I would do the same thing with those people, but I wouldn't put them in the violent the violent society. I would put them in a different area. And they would have to do the same thing to, live in that, I guess, area that's not considered America for a certain amount of time. So they realize, wow, being a part of society is a lot better than like being like a registered sex offender. But except like you wouldn't be a registered sex offender though, because that doesn't work. The only thing that does is once again it wastes more manpower because like the police have to check in on that stuff. Like it like lowers property value. Like it affects the citizens in a negative way. So the thing is, we're trying to not affect the good citizens. So good citizens obviously don't want a registered sex offender in their neighborhood because once again it lowers the property value. It like puts a stigma on the neighborhood. Okay, so let's move them to like that same state like Wyoming. I'm gonna use Wyoming in a compound / quote unquote city where they can't leave, but they have all the freedoms they want. They're just not Americans. Like, see, like we don't need jail. We need American citizens, and we need like other people. The other people just go somewhere else, and they don't get the liberties and the freedoms of us, of our American citizenship, and also. You wouldn't be like if you're born here, you're not automatically an American citizen. That's another thing. Like I mean, I understand like your parents are American citizens, but like you don't officially become a citizen until like you're until like a few years, and then like when you're old enough to decide if you want to be an American citizen. Like we need to, because like there's so many people. Like look at these protests. Like, look at these Black Lives Matter people. Do you think those people are good Americans? Like, the people, like, who've been rioting for 2 months straight? Do you want those to be Americans? Or do you want those people, like, kicked out the country? Like, we really have to, like, think about that stuff. So, yeah. So, like, I don't know, like, what the age would be. But, like, you should be at a certain age. And you have to decide, like, sign a contract going, like, I'm not going to riot. If you do, you're not a citizen anymore. Like, we need stuff like that. We need people who want to make America better. Those people protesting, those people looting, don't want to make America better. They shouldn't be American citizens. Why are they living in a country that they feel comfortable burning down? That's not an American citizen. I don't want them here. The only thing it does is hurt everyone else who's following the law. And apparently the laws aren't good enough because people don't mind breaking the law, so obviously it's not working. Okay, also the war on drugs. The war is over. People do drugs because they want to do drugs. I would not waste any more tax dollars on commercials, on special task force. Okay? People do drugs because they want to do drugs. Okay? So, if you make drugs legal, guess what's going to happen? The same people are going to do drugs anyway. It's no one's going to be like, oh shit, meth is legal, let's cook it up. No one's going to do that. Everyone knows it's bad. Everyone knows doing $60 of coke a day is bad for you. The law doesn't matter. So we gotta forget that crap too. So drugs, no. You don't go to jail for drugs. It's who cares? Who cares? I mean, I understand you get a DUI because you're driving drunk or you're driving high. That's different. But I'm talking going to jail because you have a brick of coke. No, because who cares? I mean, if you take that person away, there's someone down the street who has it too, so what's the point of fighting an endless battle, wasting money on that stuff? Once again, if you're a violent criminal, violent, you are put away in this, I'm going to say, Wyoming. But if you have a brick of coke, you're not doing anything, who cares? Now, if you rob someone to get it, yeah, you're put away. You kill someone when you're on it, yeah, you're put away. But the drugs have nothing to do with it. A bad person is a bad person. Okay? I would totally change, I guess, law enforcement too. There would be no such thing as quotas for tickets, because what does that do? It just makes millions of unnecessary police and citizen interactions. There's no need for that. Our tax dollars pay police salary, right? Okay, they shouldn't have to subsidize anything by giving away mandatory tickets. There should not be a quota. That's just bullshit. Also, the mental, what's it called? Prerequisites you need to be a cop would be a lot different. I would want to focus more on college-educated people to be police instead of former military people to be police. We need smart people, not robots, to be police. That's why there's a lot of problems with police, because a lot of them are robots. You know, there is a personality test that every cop takes. That's why every cop kind of acts the same. That's why every bad cop is kind of the same. That's why every good cop is kind of the same. Gotta get rid of that. Police, I don't care if you're a man or woman, but you have to be college educated to be a cop. That's it. I don't know what course it would be, but you need a college education. I'm talking a 4-year college education. You could be an English major. It's just you have to be a college graduate. That's what I mean. I didn't mean it didn't matter which subject, but obviously if you're majored in I don't know, PE, no. But I mean English, a real major that involves your intellect. Yeah, I know I'm insulting a lot of people by saying a real major, but yes, a real major. So, English, journalism, math major, whatever. We need smart people, not robots. Also, the medical industry. No more insurance. Doctors, anyone medical is paid through taxes. Okay? So, once again, it's going to be how our police right now are paid by our taxes. Well, anyone in the medical field is going to be paid. If you work for a hospital, the taxpayers are going to pay your salary because it's going to be free now. We're not going to need insurance. It's just going to be, we're going to be taxed, because our taxes aren't going to be raised. There's so much money right now that is just being wasted and is unaccounted for. Granted, we're going to redo the whole system. I'm just saying, think about it now. If we took all the money that's just being wasted and put that into paying salaries, and like nothing would change, like coming out of our pockets, except now medical care is quote unquote free because it's just being taxed, and it doesn't matter how serious or like light the injury is. You could have a hangnail. You could need, I don't know, cancer treatments. It's paid for already. Military spending, that would totally change too. Like, we don't. I know America has a military where we want to be able to fight two full-fledged wars at the same time. That's our military strength. Okay, well, we're not gonna have it like that. From now on, we only go to war if it's a direct conflict with us. We're not helping other countries, and we are a nuke first country. You start a war with us, you just get nuked. That's it. American lives have to be put first. If you send in ground troops, the only thing you're doing is killing Americans. Why are we sending ground troops? We have nukes for a reason. We have nukes that are very small, that literally can ruin a mile radius. I mean, I'm serious. Like, we have nukes that fit in suitcases. We have the technology. Like, if we're known as that kind of country, who's going to fight with us? And then let's say something happens to us, we can wipe out the world basically. So we need to use that big stick, and we don't. Why do we have all of these nukes? I don't know, because I think it's our tax dollars just being wasted. So no more waste. And if you want to join the military, that's fine. But these quote unquote troops, they're going to be mostly to help. Like, if there's a natural disaster, send in the army, whatever. Yeah, I understand we still need tanks, we still need planes, all that jazz, but we don't need as many if we have nukes that, hey, we're going to use them. So all these people who want to defend our country, they're going to defend our country here. We're going to I just explained it, like natural disasters, like if there's a forest fire, we have National Guard help. Like these military people are going to be trained in other things like firefighting, medical stuff, so they can help the country instead of being abroad doing God knows what, like fighting over oil. Who cares? If these fat cats want oil, they'll hire their own mercenaries and take over Iraq. I don't care. And also the officials. We'd have to change the Senate, the Congress, President. We have to change all that. We should make it that. Excuse me. That no donations. Donations cannot be used by candidates. Also, political ads. Like, all of these things are free now. So. And it has to be equal. So if one TV station has 6 ads, or run 6 free ads for one candidate, they have to run 6 free ads for the opposing candidate. Basically, but it's up to them. So, but basically, everyone who is running gets free ads. So you know what's going to happen? They're going to stop running political ads, because if it has to be equal and it's free. For example, right now, it's Biden versus Trump. So, let's say Channel 4 runs 2 Biden commercials. They have to run 2 Trump commercials, but these commercials are free. And Channel 4 leans one way, so they're going to be pissed that they're running another ad. So, they're going to cut down on the political ads, so you just might get 1 or 2 ads. Or none at all. And then that means, the politicians will have to use their own money and actually do it the old-fashioned way, and that would really cut down on corruption, because these politicians won't be bought. They'll actually have to do what they promise when they're running for office. That'll solve that. Also, We would have professional jurors. There will be no more you are judged by your peers in the court system, because obviously it just doesn't work. You just need professional jurors, and like once again, this will be paid for by the taxpayers, because once again, there's so much money just being wasted, and we're going to be spending less money on the military. Like it all trickles down. And then, like the professional jurors, obviously their identities will not be made public. Also, court cases will not be made public. Like there will be no more the court of public opinion. No more of that. There is no reason why the public needs to know excuse me, about other people's cases, unless the people involved want to talk about it. I don't know why I'm coughing. Excuse me. But anyway, those are like the basics right there. That kind of covers most of our society. Also, when people come into this country illegally, it doesn't matter who they are, how famous they are, how poor they are, how whatever they are not going to be processed. They will be sent back immediately or the next day. Literally. Immediately or the next day. Because I understand if some like came from really, really far, where like you need a boat or a plane. But you are sent back immediately. That's it. Because this is America. If you come from, I'm just going to use Mexico and Canada because they're closest. If you're coming over here illegally, you are immediately turned around. That's it. Why are we processing people? Well, we do that because it's just another way to launder money. We don't need to waste taxpayers' money on housing illegal immigrants. They are just turned around. And the longest they can stay here is a day. So I guess the process is, okay, we caught you. Okay, it might take a while to find out where you are, but I mean, where you came from, but it shouldn't take more than a couple hours. So that's why a day is the longest they can stay here. If they have family here, well, the family needs to visit. You don't need to visit her. And then like back to the crime thing, where I was like, the violent people are sent away, and then okay, that's fine. But like the non-violent ones, so like let's say like you get a DUI and like you crash into like a telephone pole and like you hurt yourself, but like no one else is hurt. There's no jail time for that. You just pay a fine. Basically, how right now how rich people can just buy their way out of trouble, whatever. Well, it's just gonna go for every citizen now, So like, whatever, like you get a DUI, it's not jail time. We're not gonna clog up the courts. Like you owe $5,000 now. That money goes towards all this other stuff that costs taxes, and it's not like, and it's just a flat fee. It's just $5,000. I'm just making up a number, but the thing is, it's like, we don't put you in jail if you don't pay it. It's just taken out of your wages bit by bit. So let's say if you don't have a job, okay, well then I guess you'll be paying. But let's say like when you get a job, a portion of each check will be taken out, so you are guaranteed to pay that fine. Totally changed the marriage laws too. Basically, like there is no alimony and there is no child support. There is no he or she gets half of everything the other person owns. Okay, that's just gone out the window. We're not gonna do that. Like if you want to get divorced, then you just get divorced and you split up. You decide who keeps what, but like we're not doing divorce court. We're not doing I was with him or I was with her and I helped him or her built this empire, I should get half. No, that's not how it goes. If one owns a business and they got married and then they get divorced. The other person doesn't get half the business when they split up. The person who started it keeps it. That's it. We're not doing this shit anymore. It's because it's just tired. Well, I think that covers the basics. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about the Senate. I said the Senate and the Congress need to change, but okay. I would set term limits and age limits. Okay, so like the oldest you can be and still be a active member of the government is 65. It's 65. We need people. Yeah, like when you're 65 in politics, you got to retire. We want politics to be people of progressive minds. So basically, we're talking like like 21 through 21 and up. So 21 through 65. That's it. These are the people who we want to like be thinking about our future. We don't want someone in their late 70s, 80s making decisions for like America. That's just no. Okay? We don't need 90-year-old justices. Okay? No. We just need young and progressive, because young people realize they're going to be older. So like they're going to make decisions more based on everyone. Older people, no. They just don't have what it takes. And then like the term limits, like there's people who've been in politics for like 50 years. Do you think that people like that are doing or putting America's best interest in mind? No, they're not. They're there for a reason. Because like people like that have flip-flopped on so many issues that it's like they're just there. So like, Congress, like Congress and the Senate, we should just have like a flat 10-year terms. That's it. 10 years. Because like you can do a lot in 10 years. Because like I understand like politics is slow, but anyway, 10 years. And then like once again, it's the same thing. Like corporations cannot support these people. And that would solve a lot of corruption. And the reason why I'm saying 10 years is just because I know politics is slow. But it's still better than a 50-year politician, because there are some that have been there that long and they don't do shit. But if you know that you have a 10-year limit and that's it, you're going to get stuff done. And you're not going to feel like, oh, I could take my time. I've been reelected so many times, it doesn't matter. So there you go. That's my government, I guess. Anyway, hope you. Oh, and if you have any, once again, this was the last question I got on Facebook before Facebook booted me off. So if any of you have any questions, just leave it on my YouTube. Okay. Anyway, have a good one. Peace.